Today, we discuss if Judge Mike Bell comes up missing, was it Valentina Shevchenko? And JDM tests positive for one thing. He got that dog in him. And what about Raul Rosas Jr.? Is that a good bounce back win? Or does his opponent just simply lose in spectacular fashion? All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. Let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's happening? We back in it. We back at it. It's a new week. And we about to get off into UFC Noche or Noche UFC. However you choose, I should say, to pronounce it. Let's start out with the main event. Alexa Grasso goes out there and retains her flyweight championship against Valentina Shevchenko via draw. Now, this fight to me, I'm going to discuss there could be a little trickery at hand in this fight, and I'm going to tell you why. So, in my opinion, when I was watching the fight, I scored it 3-2 to Alexa Grasso. I gave it to Alexa Grasso simply because had Valentina not gotten her back taken and gotten controlled in the 5th round, to me, Valentina was on her way to winning the fight, score 3 rounds to 2 rounds, Alexa Grasso. But that final mistake by Valentina Shevchenko late or about midway through the 5th round, that did it for me. In my opinion, Alexa Grasso should have won 3 rounds to 2. Once she took the back and controlled Valentina Shevchenko for the rest of the fight, Valentina, I mean, she was never able to mount anything else. And she was taking punches, not punches that would knock her out or get her out of there on the ground, but she was taking a lot of shots while Alexa Grasso kept trying to advance with different, she was trying to choke the lady out, you know what I'm saying? She was trying to duplicate what had already happened in their previous fight. She tried to choke her out. Nevertheless, in my opinion, Alexa Grasso should have won 3-2. Now, let's move over to Judge Mike Bell. So the controversy being that Judge Mike Bell gave Alexa Grasso a 10-8 round in the 5th round. By him scoring that round a 10-8, that caused, let's just put it this way. If he hadn't scored it a 10-8, then Valentina Shevchenko would have won. She would have won via points because everyone else scored it as a 10-9 round. He scored it 10-8. That's what gave Alexa Grasso the advantage to go on to win. So, at the end of the day, it kind of sucks because I feel like Alexa Grasso got that win and then it would have been more definitive and, Valentina Shevchenko could have moved on, hopefully, and Alexa Grasso could have moved on. But by that mistake by Judge Mike Bell, at least Alexa kept her belt, but at the same time, it's like, bro, you kind of robbed one of these fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, I feel like Alexa Grasso won. With that being said, if you were one of the people that felt like Valentina Shevchenko won, then you are definitely extremely heated today. If you watch that fight and you feel like she won, which, there is an argument somewhat for that, you're really upset because, this this judge and his bad score and his bad call of giving that 5th round a 10-8 to Alexa Grasso just got Valentina didn't walk away with no belt. She didn't walk away with nothing. She walked away with a draw. And at this stage in her career, a draw is not good enough. Now, let's get into Valentina Shevchenko and the saltiness that she displayed after the fight. Which, granted, I'm not hating on her because if dude had scored the fight a 10-9 for Alexa Grasso in the 5th round, Valentina Shevchenko would be your flyweight champion. The comments that she made about, it being, Mexican Independence Day, and, being biased judging is why she lost the fight. Look, I'm not here to litigate that, so to speak, because I don't know why Mike Bell gave it a 10-8 in the final round. So I don't know. I don't really know if it's anything like that, but I got to say, shout out to Valentina Shevchenko, who just didn't just be quiet and take the draw. The draw. I was about to say draw loss, but it's not really a loss. But she didn't just take the draw and just leave off into the night. You know what I'm saying? Valentina was like, nah, there was some bias going on. There was a little hypocrisy going on. There was a lot of things going on, and I'm upset. You know what I'm saying? Valentina let her know. She's like, look, I'm not standing nor sitting down for this. Nevertheless, Alexa Grasso is still the flyweight champion of the world. Let's move on. Let's move into the co-main event as Kevin Holland, big mouth, trailblazer, Kevin Holland, stepped in there with Jack Della Maddalena. Bro, JDM, I gotta take my hat off to JDM, tip of the hat to old JDM, because man, this fight did not really play out how I thought it was going to. JDM, I got to take my hat off to him. There were times during this fight where Kevin Holland really seemed like he was really trying to scrap with him. Kevin Holland kept doing this kind of a strange spinning technique in which his back was kind of towards Jack Della, and Jack would just bomb shots basically over Kevin Holland's shoulder. And I don't know why Kevin Holland kept doing that same technique where he was basically giving his back over and over again to Jack Della. I mean, once Jack kind of timed it, it was, he never wobbled him per se or knocked him down off of that. But once Jack timed that technique, it just, I don't know why Kevin Holland kept doing that. But nevertheless, there was a lot of times during this fight that Kevin Holland tried to get in the face of Jack Della, really tried to challenge him, so to speak, when the fight wasn't really going Kevin's way. And Jack was still hanging in there. And Jack would just kind of acknowledge it and fire back and was hitting him with devastating combinations. Like Jack Della was hitting him with body, head, head, body, head, body. Whatever body part you want to pull out. This dude, I mean, he was knocking Kevin Holland around. However, Kevin Holland knows how to take a beating because you never really saw him get too wobbled or too rocked, in my opinion. But Jack Della was definitely getting the better of him as far as the power shots. Kevin Holland was landing, a lot of jabs. And, he was definitely landing some punches, but I wouldn't say they were nowhere near as significant as JDM. So shout out to Jack Della Maddalena. He put them hands on him. He put them paws on him. He put them appendages on him. What else you want? He put them on him, and he got Kevin Holland out of there via the scorecards. And I don't know, I haven't checked the tempo of this fight to see if there was anybody that really looked at this or that had Kevin Holland on their scorecard. But in my opinion, Jack Della went out there and he did his thing. So shout out to him. That was a good fight. Let's move on as I check my Nizzodes. Raul Rosas Jr. Raul Rosas Jr. goes out there against Terrence Mitchell. And here's the thing, man. Shout out to Terrence Mitchell as I pull my AirPod out of my ear. I don't know why that was in my ear. Nevertheless, Terrence Mitchell, man, when Terrence Mitchell came out there to Cult of Personality, and he kind of was giving me CM Punk vibes, it was like, bruh, it's going to be a rough night for him. I just, when he came out there, he just, I don't know, man. Terrence Mitchell, he definitely don't have that dog in him. And it just, I don't know, man. When he was walking out to the cage, it was like it was like all of us as viewers were watching him walk out, and you kind of knew this guy, it was about to be a rough night for him, but he didn't see it. He didn't know it was about to be a rough night, but you knew when he was coming out by just the whole vibe he was giving. It just, the vibe was off, bro. It was CM Punk vibes, and you kind of had a feeling that this dude was going to go out there and get washed out. This dude, I don't know, man. He got washed out like pouring a bucket of water on a sidewalk full of chalk. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever heard that, but I just made it up. And I mean, it was just rough, bro. And the homie, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know what to say about Terrence Mitchell. Shout out to Raul Rosas Jr. He went out there. He did look a little awkward in some exchanges as far as his punch his punch selection and more or less kind of his balancing. But nevertheless, man, he went out there, he did his thing, and man, when he caught him with that right hand, I mean, Terrence Mitchell, bruh, when he fell backwards, it was like you were in your kitchen. You might have been sweeping with the broom. You know what I'm saying? You went to lean the broom up against the counter, and it was too close to the counter, and the thing just tipped over backwards. That was how he felt. Like the way he tipped over backwards, bro. And then when he hit the ground, his eyes was just like he was awake then. Like he knew at that moment. He knew what we all knew when he was walking out to the octagon. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to him. He's a better man than me because I wouldn't have stepped in the octagon. So he's more man than me. But this guy, I mean, bro, is he all right? You know, you might if you know Terrence Mitchell, check on your boy. No disrespect to him though. Shout out to him. You know, we'll see where he goes from here. But Raul Rosas Jr. had a heck of a bounce back. It was a great fight for the few seconds it lasted, just to show you that Raul Rosas is to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? Now, we'll see when he really steps up his level of competition again, and we'll kind of see where he's at. You know, because I'm not saying he's going to be no world beater or nothing like that, because, I mean, the competition was Terrence Mitchell. But when they step up his competition, we'll see where he's at. But it was an impressive knockout. Let's move on. How about Daniel Zellhuber? Daniel Zellhuber went out there. He did work against Christos Giagos. Zellhuber looked good, man. The first round, he kind of got taken to the woodshed a little bit in the first round. He took a lot of hits, and he admitted it as much that that Giagos really, I mean, he laid some shots in on him in the first round. But nevertheless, Daniel Zellhuber, he continues his rise. We will see. He's looking like he's going to be a pretty good prospect. I'd like to see him put at least another 2 wins. Another 2 wins together before I'll really be like, if he looks good in his next 2 fights, both of them wins, then I'll be like, this guy might be something. But, we'll see. But he was definitely looking solid. He was looking solid out there. He had the fan support behind him. It was good to see. So we'll see where he goes from there. Let's move on. We had Fernando Padilla versus Kyle Nelson. Kyle Nelson, bro. Kyle Nelson. He went out there. He did his thing, man. Padilla is like a zombie. I mean, this guy is like a Mexican zombie, bro. Because this guy, he just took shot after shot after shot and was unfazed. They were head shots, they were body shots, they were all kind of shots. He was not fazed at all. And even though he kept a good poker face, the thing that really chipped away at him were all of those leg kicks. More towards the end of the fight, he was stepping gingerly, as John Anik would say, and you could tell that those leg kicks were definitely weighing on him. They were working on him. So, very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm going to be excited to see where Padilla goes in the future because, once he gets his technique down pat to where he doesn't, as far as his defensive technique, to where he doesn't have to take all those shots, that dude might be something because he's got a chin on him. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely got a chin. Shout out to Kyle Nelson, who went out there and got it done. He had a good game plan. He stuck to his game plan. Those leg kicks were eating him alive. You know what I'm saying? They were eating him alive. So he did a great job. Shout out to Kyle Nelson. Let's move on. Lupi Godinez goes out there and made Elise Reed look wild and crazy. You know what I'm saying? Elise, I'm sorry, I'm about to say Elise Reed with that rubber arm. You know what I'm saying? She got this girl, every ligament and piece of cartilage, period, should have been torn in her elbow and all up and down her arm. Somehow this lady withstood that devastating arm bar she was in. I don't know how she did it, but nevertheless, man, after that, Lupi was just like, look, I'm done with it. Slammed her multiple times. Great wrestling, great takedowns, great control on the ground. I mean, Lupi Godinez was out there doing work. And she gets Elise out of there. So, you know what I'm saying? There it is. There it was. What you got to say now? So, onward and upward for Lupe Godinez. I'll be interested to see how the UFC matches her up in her next fight and the level of competition they try to throw her in there with. Very interesting. For me, the star of the night, Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov goes in there against Josh Frem and just made mincemeat of him, just made work. You know what I'm saying? He went out there and tenderized that steak. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, this man was cooking with gas. You know what I'm saying? He done marinated the meat that was Josh Frem all day and went out there and beat right out of him. Just tenderized him. So, Roman Kopylov, what is the UFC going to do with him? You know what I'm saying? Because I have a feeling that he's going to keep on. Like, they're just going to have to bump him up to the next level of competition. Because he's just going to keep on working these guys. They're not going to give him too much of a fight. I mean, he ate a few shots in this, but, I mean, he took them well. Wasn't any big deal to him. So, I mean, this guy, I'm very anxious to see where he goes in his division. He's long. He's tall, rangy. I mean, he's got power. He's got good grappling. He's got a chin on him. I mean, this guy, it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes from here. So shout out to Roman Kopylov. I definitely want to see this. Tracy Cortez goes out there and defeats Jazz the Vicious. Good to see Tracy Cortez go out there and get a win. She really gutted it out. And striking looked much, much, much improved. And, I made a mistake in my last video. I was unaware that she has won all 5 fights that she's had in the UFC. I thought she had a loss at some point. So, that was my fault, my bad, my mistake, Tracy, because Tracy went out there and did work. Jazz the Vicious really had a good second round. And she was looking good at parts of the third round. But, Tracy kind of edged her out. Jazz had a little, as Michael Bisping would say, little cheeky hair grab. You know what I'm saying? She gave her a little cheeky hair grab, and Tracy Cortez wasn't having that, and they started laying hands after that. But, I'm not sure if Jasmine, if she got a little bit winded or some of those shots she kept eating to the face, because her defense wasn't the best. So I don't know if some of the shots she was eating to the face from Tracy were really getting to her, but she really slowed down by the end of the fight. So shout out to Tracy Cortez. She goes out there, she bounces right back. And I'm saying it like she had a loss. Like I said, she's won her last 5 fights, all 5 fights in the UFC. So shout out to her. She's doing her thing, and I'm anxious to see what ranking they're going to throw on her and see where she goes in the next step up. Because I would say she could probably step up quite a few levels in the competition. Try to get a new flyweight contender in that division. Outside of that, bro, how about Charlie Campbell sends Alex Reyes to the land of wind and ghosts in style? He sent him in style, bro. So, shout out to that. Oh, Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. I feel bad for Lacerda, man. He's on a losing streak. And then, I mean, Dominic Cruz went in on the ref. You know what I'm saying? I can't even remember his name. Only thing I can think of is Dominic Cruz, always serving no nonsense Keith Peterson. But bro, I'll put his name at the bottom of the thing. I know his name, but bro, this guy, I mean, Dominic Cruz called it. And he's yelling out, he's gonna, he's got to be careful. He's gonna stop this fight. He's got to be careful. If he doesn't know what he's looking at, he's gonna stop this fight. And sure enough, the dude stops the fight. And homie was not out. I mean, he did not drop to the ground. He didn't slump or anything. As soon as the pressure was released from that choke, he was right back in it, and he's protesting. So I don't really know what they're going to do about that. I mean, I know he's going to try to appeal that decision, but I mean, it's rare that ever works or that ever happens. So, I mean, I don't see them overturning anything really, but. Nevertheless, man, that was kind of sad to see. If Lacerda was going to go out, you want to see him go out and not by a referee, not really knowing what he's looking at. But nevertheless, man, I really enjoyed this card. It was a good card. Had some good enjoyable moments, some good stoppages, some good knockouts. So all around, I think UFC Noche was definitely a success. Nevertheless, man, we're right back at it, right back with it. At the end of this week, Rafael Fiziev is back in the octagon. We're going to see how that goes down, see what goes on with that. We'll be breaking that card down a little bit later this week. A lot of sneaky, low-key, little cheeky fighters making a return this Saturday night. So we're going to take a look at that. Nevertheless, aside from everything else, man, shout out to my guy Lamar Jackson for another win. You know what I'm saying? We starting out this year, this season 2-0. We'll see if we can keep the injury bug away and see where we go. Nevertheless, man, I appreciate you guys for joining me for another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. You know, please like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate everything from you guys. And until next time, peace.